What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for the final episode of the 5 takeaways of the season. Maybe we'll bring it back for you for the Euros. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But this is the final one of the Premier League season as Spurs beat Leicester 4-2 at the King Power Stadium. Let's get into the takeaways. And the first takeaway is bring back Gareth Bale. Come on.
Yeah, I think Bale has proved with his time on the pitch this season in the Premier League that he definitely has a lot more to give. He definitely has a lot more quality to give, and he's definitely not finished, as other people said. He ended, obviously, yesterday scored 2 goals in the latter stage of the game to win us the game. That takes him to 11 Premier League goals throughout the season, which is the same as Mane and Rashford, and it's more than the likes of Sterling and Cavani. And that's 13 goals and assists this season in 920 minutes, which is a goal contribution every 70 minutes in the Premier League, which is the best ratio in the Premier League, and obviously ended up with 16 goals overall this season for Tottenham. So I think despite obviously he hasn't gone completely to plan, but when he has been on the pitch, I think by and large he's proven his worth, and I think Gareth Bale should definitely be very seriously considered for a second year.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's something I've been saying for the last month or so. I really think it's a no-brainer to take on someone of his quality. You know, no transfer fee involved, 1-year loan. Yes, it's an expensive loan, but I think it's worth it. And, you know, 11 Premier League goals is not to be sniffed at. It's really not. So, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer.
Especially in so little time.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a completely no-brainer to bring him back. Like you said, the best goals per minutes ratio in the Premier League. So bring him back, man. But he said after the game yesterday, he kind of does know what he's doing, and it's going to cause chaos. So we'll see what that actually means.
Yeah.
Let's get into the second takeaway, and that is deadly trio.
So Kane, Son and Bale all getting in the act in the goal contributions yesterday. The Spurs front three actually has 79 goal contributions throughout the season. Bale 14, Son 28 and Kane with 37 goal contributions throughout the season, which is more than any other front three in the whole Premier League, and apparently it's the best in terms of a front three in Premier League history. So clearly, our front three has not been the problem this season in terms of contributing to goals and assists, and it's up to like the rest of the team to kind of match their level. And as they've been kind of carrying a lot of the team and making up for a lot of their mistakes, but with a better back line, will be a lot higher up in the table. That's for sure. Yeah,
completely agree. And, you know, it's the trifecta. When we signed Bale, everyone was talking about Kane, Son, Bale, Kane, Son, Bale. And then halfway through the season, you're like, are we ever going to see this Kane, Son, Bale? But now, history makers.
Exactly. Best in the Premier League this season, especially.
Let's go on to number 3. And that is no Serge Aurier, but that penalty problem.
Spurs conceded 2 penalties yesterday, which took their tally of the season to 10 penalties conceded, which is only second behind Man City. Behind West Brom this season. It was the first time we conceded a penalty and actually won the game since beating Man United at Old Trafford all the way back in September. So we haven't actually conceded one for a while. And Sanchez and Dyer are first and second in the Premier League for conceding penalties this season. Sanchez conceding 3 and Dyer conceding 2 respectively. So it's definitely a problem we need to sort out going to next season and make sure we're not conceding any more silly penalties. Because if you think about yesterday's game, apart from the penalties we conceded, we didn't exactly have that. We didn't exactly get barrage of a bunch of chances. So it always so costly when we're so clumsy in the box, and we need to cut that out.
Completely agree. And, you know, at the beginning of the season, everyone was like, oh, Serge Aurier is the culprit of this penalty thing. But, you know, he hasn't been the culprit this season. It's been those 2 players you mentioned. And I think Matt Doherty has given away a few penalties as well.
Gave away one against Southampton, didn't he?
And in Europe as well, he's given away 1 or 2. But look, let's move on to the 4th takeaway, and that is that crazy Harry Kane stats.
Yeah, so Kane, obviously we know Golden Boot this season he's won 23 goals. He got a goal and assist yesterday, which took him to the Golden Boot and Best Playmaker award. So 23 goals, 14 assists. So already he's had a mad season. But if we even delve deeper into the stats, shots on target, he tops out with 53 shots on target. He's also hit the woodwork the most times in the Premier League, so he could have had even more goals this season. He's hit the woodwork 9 times in the Premier League, which is more than any other player, and he's third in the whole division for big chances created created as well, only behind De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes in terms of big chances created, which he's created 14. So he really has had an absolute worldie of a season. He's really set the standard for all the attackers, and he's well worth all the acclaim, and he's well worth both awards, Golden Boot and Best Playmaker award. First player to do it since Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank apparently carried both in one season. So fair play to Harry Kane, well worth it, and some crazy stats there.
Yeah, so he's joined an illustrious list of. Now he's the third player in Premier League history to do that. And like you said, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, and the other one was Andy Cole. So Andy Cole, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, and now Harry Kane has been added to the list of legends who have both topped the goal-scoring charts and the assist charts. So well in Harry Kane. Let's hope it's not the last we've seen of him in a Spurs shirt. It
could have been even more if some of those shots that went off the post went in.
Yeah, so true, so true. Let's get into the last takeaway, and that is conference confirmed.
So we know we finished 7th yesterday, finished just above the Arsenal at the end of the season. It's actually the first time now since 2009 that Tottenham finished outside the top 6. First time since 2008 Spurs finished below West Ham as well. But on the brighter side, Spurs have now made it 5 years in a row finishing above Arsenal. At the end of the day, we finished 5 points outside top 4, which means all those late goals and those late draws that we had throughout the season proved very, very costly. And even if it was just a couple of results changing, it could have been very, very different. So it does show, in one way, obviously we are lagging behind in terms of squad quality and motivation, all that kind of stuff, but it's very fine margins between us getting top 4 and not getting top 4 this season at the end of the day, and that's how it proved. And
you've got to say that if Daniel Levy did dip into his pocket and sign a Milan Skriniar in the summer,
I'm comfortable with top 4. Yeah, comfortably.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
So look, he's losing money by saving money.
Yeah, that's the fact, and I think Spurs with a bit more investment on the back line in the summer, I think it would have been comfortably top 4, but we didn't. Those fine margins end up going against us, and we end up 7th rather than 4th, and that's the sad reality of the season. But hopefully next season we can rectify that, and we can push on. Obviously, so we will have an early start now because we have to qualify for the Conference League with one knockout, and we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, and notable teams that are in the Conference League for next season are Villarreal, Union Berlin of Germany, Jose Mourinho's Roma for next season, Rennes from France, Rubin Kazan, Anderlecht, Lask, who we know from this season, Trabzonspor, Vitesse, Feyenoord, Aberdeen, Ghent. You fancy playing Ghent again?
Yeah, why not? A trip to Belgium, wouldn't mind that.
It was a good trip, wasn't it?
It was a very good trip.
So a lot apart from that, it's just like complete nobodies, to be honest. Basel are in it. All right, and that is it. That is your 5 takeaways. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any other takeaways from the 4-2 win at the King Power Stadium yesterday. That is your last 5 takeaways of the Premier League season. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.